Hello everyone. I'm Mamta. I work at Leica Geosystems as an embedded engineer. So we just had a very nice talk around real-time networking with Preemption. So now I would like to share a debugging story around it, where it was just a routine kernel upgrade, and it helped to find out issues with the reset naming, some timing issues, and some hidden assumptions that we had. So before starting the story, something about the platform where I observed it. So I was using this SoC from Intel. It's Altera Arria 10. It's Cortex A9 dual-core ARM 32-bit. And we have Ethernet MAC from Synopsys, Designware 1000. And we have a Mr. L5, and there were different kernel versions involved in this story. But before that, you might be wondering why real-time kernel? So we do have real-time applications, and we do need deterministic timing in application for devices like laser scanning used for surveying and construction. So how it started, around 2 years back, or end of 2024, I was bumping up kernel from 6.1 to 6.6 with RT patches. I was moving to 6.6, and initially, I booted this kernel. Everything seemed fine. All the peripherals were working out of the box. But then the thing which I needed the most, SSH, to connect to this board remotely, it was very slow and unstable. Like, I cannot just say slow and unstable. I wanted to quantify it or to measure it, how slow. So I started pinging from the board. And when I booted with the Preemption kernel, like full preemption enabled, I was seeing 50% packet loss. And the latency was OK. But surprisingly, when I disabled preemption and booted non-RT kernel, everything was fine. I could reach to the board, SSH was fine. And then I started to dig deeper. So initially, it was working with the earlier kernel, but still I wanted to check some skew values in the DTS for the PHY. And for the Mac, I started testing with the ETH tool just to see if there are any CRC errors, or checking the registers with PHY tool, and also keeping in mind the behavior of RT and non-RT kernel, and some traces and logs, but to do something much more obvious, to find out what really changed between the two kernel. I was looking for something more in driver side, but I stumbled upon this one commit, because this was one of the changes between the two versions. And it says it was for 64-bit, but it was touching DTS for Arria 10 as well. And slightly more about this commit message. So they wanted to replace OCP reset line with the AHP, because AHP is the standard one, and it's used by the core driver also. And before I go much deeper around these resets, I'll take a step back and let's see how it looks on the hardware side. So on Arria 10, with this Ethernet MAC, we have two reset domains. So there is EMAX0 and EMAX0 OCP. So basically, these two resets are managed by Reset Manager and set in this pair 0 mode register. And they take care of two different parts of this entire core. So EMAX0 reset, which is quite important, and it takes care of TXRX FIFO inside the core. And we have OCP reset, which takes care of the ECC RAM, which is not that important, but also about bus interface, which is the connection from your EMAC controller to the SoC. And to make this Ethernet connection work correctly, we also need to set PHY mode before starting any of the transactions, and that is set by System Manager by setting the PHY mode bit. So as per the Intel TRM, it's advised that please make sure both these resets are released before any of the transactions begin. Then when I try to map it to Linux kernel and the driver and the DTS, so we have STM Mac ETH reset, which is used by the core driver, and it takes care about the Emacs0 module itself and its STM Mac reset. Then there are two other definitions as well, AHP reset and the OCP reset. And the core driver, it uses the AHP reset, and OCP reset is actually needed by the glue driver. And this takes care of the OCP and AHP side so that your Mac can communicate with the SOC and later be in a stable condition to do DMA or any other transactions. And this OCP reset and EMAC reset, they both are needed to create a clear reset boundary. So coming back to the patch, so the idea was that we use AHP reset, make it uniform across all the SOC FPGA, all the SOCs from Intel, like Arria 10 and Agilex as well. It looked like, okay, just a change of reset name, and we already know the path which is taken by these resets. It looked quite normal, but since this was the only change made between the two kernel, so I decided let's revert it and check how it works. So when I switched to OCP reset, there was no packet loss. Everything worked perfectly, especially for RT kernel. SSH was fast, stable, right, and everything was stable right from the boot time, and I was happy. But so far from the story, understanding all the reset sequences and reverting this patch, I try to restructure this initialization path and understand what is really happening. So initially, we have a bootloader which keeps the EMAC in reset. The clocks are enabled, and then we release the PHY out of reset. But when the kernel boots, we use the glue driver to probe. And then the PHY mode has to be set. And when this change was there with AHB and OCP reset and AHB replacing the OCP reset, there is like, if I call for the function reset control assert in setting the PHY mode, it was no op, no operations, and null. And when it's OCP reset, there was some proper timing for setting up the PHY mode correctly. And the Ethernet path was going well, and it has a timing window when I had this OCP reset. But with AHB and with RT kernel, it was a little tricky. So knowing like we need a correct reset name, and it is still being used inside the glue driver, and the glue driver from for SOC FPGA needs the correct reset name, I decided to send the patch upstream. And it was accepted, and someone also mentioned they had the similar issue. But still something was missing, actually, because in my story, I started with RT kernel and then non-RT kernel. And non-RT kernel was somehow getting away with this. And my first hypothesis was maybe non-RT kernel provides enough slack to allow Mac to settle better, and then we have a stable Ethernet connection. Cut to 2026, so beginning of this year, there were a few more patches from the maintainer. And the idea was to support both the reset lines because this STM-Mac OCP and AHB, on the software side, they do represent the same software reset. And following the discussion in the thread, there was a suggestion that it's better to switch to AHB reset, but step by step. And still, when I was reading this thread, I still had two more questions. So is it really the reset names that affect the setting of the PHY mode, or it's the sequence actually that when this PHY mode is being set. So to do that, to understand that well, I tried to do some more experiments around it and to understand what is happening with the sequencing. So I booted with the kernel, which has AHP only reset and nothing changed in the driver. And on the system where I didn't had a very good Ethernet connection, just after booting, I did bind and unbind of the driver, and SSH works fine. Second, I tried to keep emac in reset inside the U-boot by writing to this pair 0 mode register. In this case also, it was fair enough. And then the case where we still have AHP defined in DTS, but there is OCP reset inside the driver, and just added a small delay. This was also fine. So it kind of indicated that maybe it's just a timing and the sequence issue, but you also need to take care of the correct reset names in the driver itself. So not just the one line of change, that changing from OCP to AHP, but we can go further with AHP only reset, but the idea is to call this reset inside the set PHY mode as well, inside the glue driver. And also clean up the fallback while probing it so that it's compatible with the older DTS if it's around, and also make sure it's deasserted. So what's known so far, this fallback mechanism, it's a suggestion, but it's still not in upstream, and it's still under discussion. So what is known so far and what really works? So if I remove this patch that I want to use OCP reset, and if I want to use this board with full preemption, the SSH is usually slow, and I observed it till 6.18, which was released in April with RT patches. And the idea behind AHP only is also a good direction, and I think it's a possible direction so that it will unify all the reset names around it. So this was a short debugging story, and this is a takeaway for everyone if you want to work with Preemption or you have this same emac controller or SOC. That sometimes Preemption can help you really to find out issues in your code. And also it can be used like a good stress tester if you are really aiming for a real-time application. So a reset name which looked very cosmetic, like it won't change anything, but it was really changing the ownership of the reset around it. And non-RT kernel usually lands in a safe window. Sometimes it allows the Mac a time to settle down, but RT kernel, being the deterministic in nature, it can expose this timing issue. And this is a little hard to do, but if a hardware has a reset boundary and needs a settling time, we need some explicit solution around it. So here are the links related to this thread, and yeah, I'm open for suggestions and questions if you have around it.